everybody, this is Tyler here once again from the Character Workshop, where people have been trying to destroy art for as old as time. So, this is a episode that I honestly was not expecting to make. This news kind of came out of nowhere, which I'll be surprised if none of you have heard about this, because as of right now, this whole thing just kind of got started talking about, or being talked about, should I say. And that is about the world of Doctor Who, basically, which, you guys know me. I've done dozens of videos talking about it. I've, been reviewing, individual stories from the show. I've been doing overall discussions of each era. I've talked about it through and through. And, that's definitely not stopping anytime soon. But what somebody is trying to do is stop the show's very first episode from ever being shown publicly ever again. Yes. And you're probably wondering who that person is. Well, this individual happens to be the son of the writer of the first Doctor Who story, An Unearthly Child, which the writer's name, of course, was Anthony Coburn. And this is his son, Steph Anthony Coburn. Now, you're probably wondering where I first heard about this news from. Well, it's on Twitter. And yes, I'm calling it Twitter. I'm not gonna, call it by its new name. So, you can go eat a big one, Elon. Anyways, so this tweet right here is from Mr. Tardis, who I'm sure a lot of you in the Doctor Who community are very familiar with. He's a guy who basically discusses and reviews basically pretty much everything Doctor Who related. Love his content. Anyways, that's besides the point. So, while this wasn't kind of an announcement of the what's been going on, but this is just him sharing his 2 cents of the whole situation. So this is basically him just I don't know what you would call it, basically saying what it basically sounds like Steph is saying, which, we'll get to that tweet later on. Muhahaha, I shall get my vengeance on the BBC for casting a black man in Doctor Who by not allowing them to show An Unearthly Child again. For this discussion, my mind goes to the idea of media preservation. Yes, An Unearthly Child is the first Doctor Who story, and it's historically significant and culturally important, yada yada yada, etc. But it wasn't just a landmark for the BBC and UK TV. Its actors have been immortalized in that story, and they may be denied that significance they deserve because of a stupid, spiteful bigot. I don't know why I said bigot. I don't think that's a word. Let's see, Hartnell passed away in the 70s, Hill passed away in the 90s, Ford and Russell are in their 80s and 90s respectively. Makes me sad as a fan of the show, but an advocate for media preservation that they might be denied the metaphorical immortality of being at the genesis of a beloved show. Yes, you can still get the pre-owned DVDs and watch it illegally on Dailymotion, but there is something to be said for the official platform and the maintenance as well as the accessibility features that come with it. So, yeah, basically, in other words, Steph, like I mentioned earlier, who's Anthony's son, is, for whatever reason, trying to get this story to not be viewed by the public anymore. Basically, trying to remove it from, any streaming services, not allowing it to air on TV again, so on and so forth. And this person right here said, actually, Coburn claims that he is doing this to avenge his father, who the BBC killed. No, I am not making this up. And then Mr. Tardis replies saying, that's what he says, but one look at this timeline and his recent comments on the show indicates that he might be doing this out of conservative spite. Now, the tweet in question was originally done by this guy, David Vance, who said, "Meet the next Doctor Who," who's obviously Shudigawa, and a new character in the next series, who's Jinx Monsoon. Will you be watching? And then Steph replies saying, "The ashes of my father, Doctor Who co-creator and TARDIS originator, Anthony Coburn, are now oscillating at the light speed in his urn, in outrage at what generations of progressively more corrupted BBC filth has done with his creation. Had he known, he'd have turned down the job." So basically what Mr. Tardis has been claiming in his initial tweet is that I guess possibly the main reason why Steph is trying to, wipe out any existence of An Unearthly Child to begin with is because he doesn't like the fact that the next Doctor is going to be a black guy, I guess. I don't know. That I'll be honest, like, Steph would probably work very well with Bolstrak. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Bolstrak finds out about this and he actually supports Steph. Like, I actually agree with what Steph says. That'll be a middle finger to the Doctor Who fans who like the show the way it is, and it's pandering. At least that's what I think. I don't know, but let's just hope that doesn't happen. But anyways, from what I've also, like, researched from, like, other sources, apparently one of the other reasons why, I guess, Steph is trying to do this is because, like, since his dad basically wrote the first story of Doctor Who, like, he thinks his dad should have deserved, like, a lot of credit for that, and, that's why he's doing it to begin with. And, you guys may be thinking that this is just some guy, like, spewing out things, it's not like he has any power to, like, try to remove this, but, there is tiny bit of proof that he actually might be telling the truth, which is... Alright, back on YouTube, let's say you were to look up an unearthly child on YouTube, and, basically you would expect official clips from the Doctor Who YouTube channel, but, nope, not a single one of them on here. Oh, by the way, Mr. Tardis' review on the story is also in the recommendations, so there's that. So, yeah, that's kind of like, speculation, like, there's a possibility that Steph might be telling the truth. He might be trying to wipe out any, existence of the unearthly child. And, there's been a few people that have been talking about this. Not too many, unfortunately. But, I'm assuming as, like, the days go by, hopefully, like, this will get more attention and, people will hopefully, like, open their eyes, like, oh gosh, the first episode of Doctor Who might actually be in jeopardy. But, yeah, the fact that, like, there's the BBC, like, for some reason privated any, like, clips of that story on YouTube kind of raises some eyebrows and, makes you wonder that maybe what Steph's saying is true. Maybe he actually is trying to, like, make sure that, well, that story doesn't get seen again. And, yeah, I wanted to do this in particular because, obviously, I don't think it takes a genius to know, like, Doctor Who's a show that's been pretty important to me for the past couple years. I've dedicated a lot of my, life to it. I've done content related to it. I've collected a bunch of merchandise over the years, Blu-rays, DVDs, figures, blah, blah, blah. And, yeah, this hurts. This hurts knowing that there's somebody who's, like, trying to, like, ruin other people's, like, enjoyments. And, and like Mr. Tardis said, it's culturally important, it's the start of, like, one of the longest-running sci-fi franchises of all time. And, yeah, if what's happening is true, then what the hell? That's sad. That they're letting, like, people like this, actually, like, try to, like, do something like this. Which, people... As I mentioned previously, people were like, oh, he's probably just, like, talking out of his ass, which, could be true. Who knows? People pointed out, like, like, oh, this guy's, if he was to try to sue the BBC over this, he would probably lose. And, that might be true. For all we know, this could just be him talking out of his ass, but you never know. Like I said about the YouTube thing, it's making me really worry that this might be happening. And the real reason why this is also brought up is because not just the fact that, like, the clips are not on YouTube anymore, at least official clips by BBC and Doctor Who, but on the BBC iPlayer streaming service, which they announced a couple days ago that they're going to be having, like, pretty much every Doctor Who story, both classic and modern, available on that service, so... And it also, Coburn actually made another tweet, saying that, oh, I just got emails and calls from the BBC saying that that story won't be on there, which actually, now that I think about it, let me try to look through his Twitter account and see if that's actually true. Okay, so after digging through this very long thread that Steph has made about basically him whining and complaining about, like, a while back I canceled the BBC's license to show or use in any way my late father's first ever Doctor Who episodes comprising of the Tribe of Gum, which is, kind of the nickname for parts 2 through 4 of Unearthly Child. Now they offer me a pittance to relicense them. I sent them my counteroffer instead. Let's see how much they want from them. And, basically, try to find the actual, so, where is it? Oh, yeah. So, this user says, obviously not true, because rumors say that the BBC are colorizing an elderly child for the 60th anniversary, which has been a rumor throughout the year. They've been planning on colorizing the first story. And then Steph replies saying, sorry to rain on your colorful parade, but I've been informed via email, which by the way there's no image proof of, that the BBC will not be including the Tribe of Gum in their iPlayer list, so I guess it wasn't worth the, according to my solicitor, not off the scale proposal. Oh well, c'est la vie. How much do you think a black and white serial from the early 60s is going to earn you exactly? Tiny mids, tiny thoughts. Just been reading through this thread about some of the responses that people are making. I'm not gonna bother reading his like full thread because like it's just a whole lot of nonsense. Basically, this guy is like, "Wah, they're not giving me, a good amount of money for my father's work. I must act my revenge on them." Which it does bring up this comment right here. What do you actually gain from doing this, though? And then he replies to this person saying, "Vengeance." Like, what? Yeah, like that's really gonna help. And then I also gotta bring up this tweet by another big, not a YouTuber per se, but definitely like a big Doctor Who fan on YouTube, Matthew Purchase, aka the Cyber Devil, who says, "Do you really think that your father would want his work to be hidden away? Take the nice sum of money or use it to spread good in the world, and let us new fans enjoy remember your father's work. No one is winning here." Like, this guy clearly, doesn't, like, think that, he thinks that, like, he's doing the right thing, which is obviously not. It's, kind of, not only, like, keeping his father's work, like, hidden from the public, but also just, just hiding away a piece of history, First story of Doctor Who. The story that started a whole 6 decades worth of, amazing content, And just gonna read through some of these other comments here real quick before I end the video here. Oh yeah, this person says your father would be ashamed of you. You know about as much about my father as I know yours. You also know nothing about my motivations for acting as I do, but instead proceeding from your manifest ignorance, clearly project your dishonorable, tawdry inclinations. Man, he definitely uses a lot of like big words that my American brain cannot handle. Anyway, so I did bring up Mr. Tardis's comments on Steph about like, some of the stuff he's been liking on Twitter that's, kind of been making, him kind of prove his point about him possibly being racist. And it's like this little like image right here of like what looks like to be Nazi propaganda. I'm not sure. I mean, the hand signals definitely like kind of give it away, but yeah. Which is also ironic because the next story afterwards, the Daleks, introduced the Daleks, and they were kind of like, a personification of these guys, but that's besides the point. But yeah, this whole situation is crazy, and honestly, I don't know if I have anything else to say in terms of the Twitter stuff, but I might as well just end the video by basically concluding everything. Now, some of you are going to be like, oh, the stuff you showed in your video isn't, good enough, like, evidence to, like, support your claim on this. And yes, that may be true. But, I showed as much proof as I can, kind of dig my way through just to, like, figure out the whole situation. And it sucks that this guy's trying to, like, hide an unwanted child from the public. Like, what a douchebag. I'm sorry, but anyways. So, I know a lot of you who are watching my channel probably don't care about Doctor Who, and it kind of shows from the views on a lot of my Doctor Who videos on the channel. But, I'll give you guys an example. Like, what if somebody, decided to, like, completely remove the first episode of SpongeBob from ever being watched? Or, like, the first episode of, I don't know, what's the other well-known show? The Simpsons, I guess. What if they tried to, like, remove, episodes from those shows? Would you be happy? My guess is you probably won't. And funny enough, I brought those two shows up because, those shows have also been, like, have had episodes removed from rotation for different reasons. SpongeBob had the... What episode was it? The Midlife Crustacean episode removed because of the whole panty raid joke. Nickelodeon never specified that it's the reason, but people speculate that it was. And The Simpsons removed the Stark Raven Dad episode because of Michael Jackson. But... Yeah, but the fact that, like, this guy's trying to remove, like, the start of Doctor Who is, like, bonkers, basically. And as I brought up previously, let's hope he's just talking out of his ass. Let's hope he's, like, not actually going to go through with it, because I doubt this guy's going to have any legal power to, like, be like, yeah, sorry, Unearthly Child is mine. You can't have it. Bye-bye, BBC. I don't know. But... And the thing that also is really saddening about this news is that I don't think it's going to get a whole lot of attention, because as long as Doctor Who has been around for, like, 60 years almost, it's, unfortunately as a show, throughout its time, like, Doctor Who's kind of a pebble compared to, like, The Rock or Mountain, that's basically, like, Star Trek or Star Wars or literally any other, like, major pop culture franchise out there. Doctor Who's unfortunately kind of a pebble compared to those in terms of worldwide popularity, especially in the US. So unfortunately, I don't think this is going to get enough traction enough to, like, really make people outside of the Doctor Who community talk about it. But yeah, anyways, like I said, I don't know if I have anything else to say. But yeah, this whole news is unfortunate, and I did read through some tweets from people, like, about hearing this news, and some people were like, oh, an Unearthly Child was not that great of a Doctor Who story, so who cares? But it doesn't matter if it's, like, a good story or not. What matters is the fact that, like, you're trying to, like, keep history away from people, And I'm never okay with that, trying to, like, hide any significant stuff away from people. But yeah, that's basically about it. This is my whole tangent and discussion about, like, Steph Coburn trying to not make Unearthly Child available to watch again, which, actually, as a little bonus, let me double check, eBay to see, like, how much the Unearthly Child DVDs are going up for. Alright, haven't really noticed it a whole lot, but I noticed that this beginning DVD box set is now going up for, like, over $36 from Rare Waves. But yeah, it's definitely getting up there, and I feel like if this whole thing is true, then it's gonna get worse over time, and I'm not for it. So that's about it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Are you about as upset about this news as I am, that somebody is trying to basically not have Unearthly Child be available to the public anymore? Like I said, the first Doctor Who story number 1. Trying to keep it away from the public, just because he's pissed off that his dad didn't get the recognition that he thinks he deserves. Which, he does deserve it, obviously, for creating the first story, but, like, does he really need a lot? Like, no offense, but, like, let's be honest. Okay, I know that kind of sounded rude. My apologies. Anyways, so that'll be about it for this video. Also, I'll leave a link to Mr. Tardis' YouTube channel in the description below for you guys to want to watch his stuff. My favorite videos of his are especially the ones where he basically, like, kind of, like, reacts to, I guess, conservatives who hate Doctor Who, and funny reactions, and obviously just kind of tearing them a new one, basically. Especially Ballstrek, which is how I found out about Ballstrek, so yeah, give Mr. Tardis a watch if you guys want to. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more episodes of It Came From England, or just mediocre plush content in general. Also, be sure to turn on the notification bell so you get notified each time I upload a new episode of It Came From England, or just any of my other stuff. Leave a comment down below, let me know what you think. As I mentioned before, that's about it. This is Tyler from the Character Workshop, signing out. And next episode for sure, unless something else happens, will be me talking about Steve Cuts, one way or another. But yeah, Unearthly Child, let's hope you're safe, because honestly, Steph, goodbye.